State your name and where you are located.
Yeah, so my name is Dee Gilmartin, and I am from Flower Mound, Texas. Currently in Flower Mound due to COVID. It is the town that I grew up in, but I moved away about 2-ish years ago to New York City for school. And unfortunately, this is my senior year, I got brought back. I wasn't necessarily let go from any positions, but a lot of the positions I was holding were within a theater company. So without an audience or a patron base there, it's harder to get paid. I still technically have those positions, but have not been able to start for a while with the theaters being closed. So I started in New York for school. I started my junior year at Marymount Manhattan College back in fall 2018. Since then, I worked up a good relationship with a theater company that I really liked and got offered a position to stick around with them after graduation. So that was kind of the plan, was, to graduate this May and then continue working for the theater through the summer. So this has all been crazy, kind of navigating a new normal and how long do I stay here? How long is it acceptable to stay here and kind of regroup? Being back in Texas was definitely not the plan. Post-grad was not what I was looking forward to at all. I really liked, my place in New York, the friends I had made, the positions I was holding within different companies. They were very promising as far as like long term. So to see that all kind of shut down so fast was scary. I got really lucky in finding a theater that I've worked through middle school and high school. They asked me to teach online courses through Zoom, which isn't quite the same, but we're making it work however we can, and it's nice to still remain employed while we're all staying inside. The goal was to go back in July, but I'm realizing that needs to kind of get pushed back until there are jobs for me to return to, I would say that it's probably still pretty dangerous to be in New York right now. I wouldn't want to go back yet, but even if things got progressively safer without the theaters open, that's really my whole expertise. That's what my degree is in. So there's not really much for me to return to. So my major was in directing. I have my bachelor's in theater arts directing, and I was always really interested in it. I always kind of had to be in charge as a child, and like through high school, I really liked, I had visions for how everything was gonna go, whether that be in the theater or outside, so we all kind of knew that I was the director type. It's hard to continue to do theater when you're not in, the city where it's a huge hub and everything is closed down. Entertainment, specifically, it's non-essential. Teaching these classes through Studio B, like I've been doing this summer, has really been helpful in kind of keeping that alive for me. I've been able to plan lesson plans around shows that I'm really passionate about, got to listen to that music and provide it to children. So, I'm offering them a service. They get to learn more about musicals maybe they don't know about, expand their knowledge, their repertoire, and I get to kind of keep my skills fresh by relaying that to them. Studio B is a very small 501c3 non-for-profit in Highland Village, Texas. They are a community theater, but they specialize in children's theater, and I chose to work for them because they were such a positive place for me to go and express myself. When I was a child in Flower Mound, I started going there around probably 14 years old. And so to have such a supportive environment for me to kind of grow into the person that I was going to be and explore theater in such a free and exciting way definitely inspired me to support that theater and that community in any way possible. So I started teaching classes there pretty quickly, and now, whenever I can, I come and I teach, just to be the positive mentor that I met at Studio B all those years ago. It's going to be really hard, but the way that I have planned my lesson plans to be COVID friendly is about a week before my class, I will send all of the music and all of the materials required for that specific show that we're going to be working on. And then the children will sing just a small portion of the show for me, and I'll be able to provide feedback, and I want to see that they really did their research on the show that I assigned them, but there will never have to be any in-person contact. I hope that they pick up a new skill set, not just through mine, but through all the classes, because I feel like most of us understand that the quality of the course or of the education isn't going to be up to par with in-person. That's almost impossible. My class specifies on audition prep, kind of getting them ready for in-person auditions when we can have them again. So I'm hoping that they learn a little bit more about versatility as a performer. They got to figure out how to adapt to situations, and I mean, what a better way than this? My children, I know that they've been having a really rough time, and I mean, you have to think about it. A lot of the student base that we have at Studio B is elementary to middle school. They're very young, and they're very impressionable, I would say. So to have a tragedy hit them like this while their minds are still forming, they're still trying to grasp like social constructs, and now they're stuck indoors with their family. Has a huge impact on a child's psyche. New York is definitely at a worse, I don't know, it's all relative, right? But at a more dangerous point in COVID relief than Texas is. So New York they're reopening into phases. And phase 1 is going to be implemented today, actually. So today is the first day that some previously deemed non-essential businesses get to reopen, get to try again with limited capacity. We won't see theaters come back until phase 4, and we don't know when phase 4 is going to be. It's all relative on how many cases go up in New York when the phases are implemented. The theater industry absolutely will make it back. I think we're seeing some really scary statistics of shows closing that we thought had plenty of money to stay open. And that, when you look at the headline, is a scary thing, like Frozen on Broadway. Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, which was going to star Laurie Metcalf. You see these big names and these big shows shutting down, and you think, is anyone really safe from this pandemic? But I think the important thing to keep in mind is this is all based on a company's ability to save money. Right? Like if you think about Disney and Frozen, they didn't have to close. Disney had the money to supplement it if they had to. It was just a matter of how they're going to save the most money through this. Theater has survived so much, it's probably going to be one of the first industries to jump back with a vigor, right? Because we're going to see so much content that was written in this quarantine. I mean, playwrights, their job didn't stop. If anything, it became easier. They had less distraction to hunker down and really create some thought-provoking work. And so what I'm hoping is a lot of that floods the industry in September, October, and we'll get to direct it and produce some really exciting stuff that reflects what we've all been through together.
Do you think that you bringing theater to the kids in quarantine will help them?
I think so. I mean, it goes back to the idea of the mental psyche, right? Like, they have lost so much social interaction in the past few months. And when you're at that more impressionable age, your mind hasn't fully developed. Social interaction is key to that. It's key for emotional intelligence. And they've, lost out on months of that stimuli. And so I'm hoping that even if all my class does is put them face to face, kind of, with me, and I can give them a little bit of encouragement and a little bit of positivity, then I've done my job. I'm not looking for them to completely transform as artists online. I'm just trying to give them something to do to remain practicing and remain socially intelligent. It's more for the kids' mental state than anything, I would say. It has definitely already started to benefit me just by doing research. So I got to pick music from shows that I like, and so to dive back into those shows has been really nice, been really helpful. So to revisit something I thought I knew everything about, to teach to these kids, and then I learned something totally new and I have a totally different idea on the direction I want to take it, has been very beneficial. It's kept me very sharp as an artist, for sure. If any of my students are watching this, the goal, all in all, is to have a good time, right? I know that this has been such a sad past few months, and you're looking at these courses maybe as the same level of dysfunctionality as online school has been. And I get that. And in ways, it will be. But we're not trying to make you guys overexert yourselves or stress yourselves out in these circumstances. That would never be the goal. The goal is to have a good time and to see familiar faces again, hear your beautiful singing voices, and just share art together. Because that's what we've definitely been missing out on. To all theater professionals across the country, We have to stay strong. You know, like I said, we're going to bounce back. And I think a lot of the American population is expecting us to bounce back with content that reflects their struggle. We are in no way supposed to cater to all Americans. We can only speak to ourselves in our own narrative, but a lot of us have been going through the exact same emotions these past few months. And so I hope that we are able to create content that validates the experience we've all been through, gives people maybe a little bit of comfort to know that they weren't alone in something like this. Oh, the rest of the world. Oh, I address the world. We knew this day would come, that the world would ask me what I trailed off. I think it's very similar to theater artists. I mean, we have to stay strong. We have to hold on to hope. I know it's so dumb to say, right? To be so hyper fixated on hope and positivity. And there are certain days where even it makes me crawl on my skin because I just want to sit and live in the sadness. And that's okay, but America was built on hope and on the idea that we can be better. And so let's see how hard we have to work to be better. And I think that goes for all nations in the whole world. What can we be doing within our communities to be better after this? Theater will survive this. We're all going to survive it.